One of the reasons I wanted to start talking about that was actually to ask all of you, what things could we do for you? It just made me wonder, is there more things we could do with our community? Is there ideas out there that are amazing things we could do and achieve together? Armored Monkey's here for 57. Thank you, X, and thank you to everyone in the community. I love this place. You are all amazing. Have a great day. What a lovely message. Yeah, lots of amazing people here. That actually brings me to a talky topic that I really wanted to get into and totally forgot about, and I was going to write it down and I forgot about it. I wanted to talk about the Hermitcraft community today, because together over the years we have built an amazing community. Just a great group of people. I don't mean like us hermits, I mean like the general atmosphere of the community has just always been really terrific. I've rarely seen anything negative well, I say rarely, I don't think I ever have seen anything negative put out there about Hermitcraft or anything like that, so that's terrific. But just the other day, I don't want to go into details because I could tell you exactly what the scenario was, but I don't think I should just because I don't know where the line of transparency goes. But it was in a call with someone who's had to deal with a lot of Hermitcraft fans recently and had nothing but praise. They couldn't believe how well behaved and how nice all y'all were, and it really warmed my heart. One of the things I've always felt like in life is finding a way to contribute to society or humanity. You know, if I was good at the science or something, I could be in some lab helping advance medical science or whatever. My skill sets don't seem to fall in places with practical, obvious, real-world implications. But I found this space where I can entertain people, and people need to be entertained. Like, we all need that relief, we all need that relaxation. And so if I can become better at doing this and enjoy it along the way, then maybe this is just the way that I contribute. So it may not be as like obvious and amazing as scientific and technological breakthroughs that increase the quality of people's lives. When you hear a story like that where someone just tells you, hey, you lot created a really amazing community, it gives you a lot of warmth that, hey, actually there's something positive going on here. This is making a difference. Not that I didn't know that we help make a difference, because everyone makes a difference. Change is the one thing that is consistent. It is unavoidable. We will all change. Change is a fundamental part of life as time passes by, second by second. But yeah, we've helped shape a community. We've been like-minded people drawn together for a shared passion of creativity in Minecraft, and then there have been things over the years where we see not just a nice, polite community. I've seen it in my own Patreon community, those smaller subsets, your comment sections, your Reddit, your this place, that place related to Hermitcraft. You see them in those places. But lately, we've seen some bigger implications of our community, i.e. the money that we raised for charity, with Scar leading the way on that one. That was all him. Others definitely put in more than I did. I just kind of turned up to support my fellow hermits and see what would happen, and I was kind of blown away by it. And something really interesting about that whole event is that I can't remember how it was worded, but the money raised, I think, was like one of the largest done online without a corporate donor. So usually in charitable events, you would find some corporate donor to come along and get involved, chip in a bunch of money along the way to keep the money going up or whatever for charity. And we didn't have any of that. It was all grassroots. It was all of you. The average donation was quite low as well, because it was just anyone who could chip in a few bucks, and there were no big corporate sponsors or anything like that. And that totally blew my mind. So I think what I was trying to say is that you all contribute in a way. You contribute to society if you start up a little bit of small talk with a stranger in a shop, or you're just friendly to someone, you help an old lady across the road. All the interactions we have with one another, they all shape our days and our worlds. And so just starting with the simplest of things, just being nice to one another, I think it goes like a longer way than people might think. Sometimes just a simple smile can change life, as Cantorad, yes. It really can. Everyone's got baggage, everyone's got issues, everyone feels anxious and awkward at times, and I think just being nice to strangers is like a simple way that might remind someone, hey, we're all human, we all go through it. Don't worry about it. It's part of life. I feel like the pandemic made a big difference to the community. Although Hermitcraft was already a safe space, it became a safe escape for many more people. It inflated the size of our community, that's for sure. And without too much negativity in the wake of that. Sometimes when you have a large influx of people into a situation, it can cause problems, but it didn't for us. That feeling that the Hermitcraft community has still feels the same to me. Still see that positivity, those warm vibes. Being nice to someone is how my best friend and I met when we were like 6 years old. It's been 24 years now and still going strong. That's lovely to hear. Yeah, you know, you be nice to a stranger. Only good can come of it. If you're mean to people, that'll lead you in another direction. Not gonna lie, the Hermitcraft videos are a huge inspiration for me to just be nice to people and be cool. For example, how Hermitcraft goes about mistakes was so enlightening for me when I was young. Mistakes are okay, as long as you fix them. Glad to hear that, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess like being a bit more open and transparent about how we've worked through certain struggles as a group and made mistakes. Hearing how that helps others is wonderful too. So on the note of making mistakes and whatnot, yeah, we're human, we will make mistakes. And saying that out loud can go a long way sometimes. One of the things I find really interesting, this was a concept I think I first heard Jocko Willink sort of present, and I've heard it like regurgitated a bunch of times in other places. I've really seen the benefits of it, but it's called extreme ownership. And it's the idea of when there is a problem that occurs, you think more about solutions than blaming. So when you're sitting on the couch, legs spread out, relaxing, enjoying yourself a cup of tea, someone's running about, not looking what they're doing, they trip over your legs, the tea goes everywhere, stuff breaks. It's super easy just blame the other person, rather than look at what you were doing yourself. Well, maybe I could have been attentive towards what they were doing. Maybe I should have had my legs in and not spread out. Now, and sometimes this applies to situations where clearly it's just one person's been silly, and now you have a big mess to clean up. But when you think about taking responsibility yourself for a situation like that, you start to think in terms of solutions. So it becomes less of blame and more of, well, how do we fix this? And it might be, rather than having a shouting battle and telling someone off, that you get to work on cleaning it up and talk through what happened and take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. Operating from a place of just not trying to point fingers and just come up with an answer, that can go a long way in a lot of situations. And it's easy to want to feel injustice, or no one really likes seeing someone else get away with something. But if you just take ownership of problems, you kind of free yourself of them as well. It becomes less of a hassle once the thing is dealt with and solved. What if I'm the one getting blamed, says Light Soul? Well, you know, like, so when you're the person on the receiving end of it, I've orchestrated this example from the perspective of having not been the wrongdoer. Let's say you're the wrongdoer, and maybe by a stretch, clearly you got that one totally wrong, and now you've caused a mess. Some of your first instincts, your emotional instincts, are to protect yourself from the blame, to come up with reasons why, no, it's not my fault. And again, if you take ownership of it, sometimes, yeah, that comes with consequences. You get in trouble. But you can also then start to, you know, take those steps to work towards a solution and learn from the experience. And I find that mode of thinking extremely helpful sometimes. Especially in collaborative environments, you hit sticky patches of communication isn't working well, or this thing isn't going right. It's really easy to just sort of naturally think, well, I'm doing everything right, and so the other person must be getting this thing wrong. And not in terms of, if you flip it on yourself, you might be like, hey, can I communicate better with this person? Can I set it this way? Maybe I can say it another way to try and get the point across. In my head, I'm thinking of some simple things where I've worked with people and like the communication just isn't working. And then in the past, I would have got frustrated and given up. And now it's more like I try to turn it on myself and be like, hey, communication is a two-way street. Like what part of this am I not doing as good as I could? And when you think like that, you see, you have power over yourself. You don't have power over other people. You can't control other people. You can't change them. And therefore, the situations you're in together, your autonomy is with yourself. To move along and just take the blame for it when you know it wasn't you, so others get past playing the blame game, so you can't get the job done. Yeah, sometimes it's a case of just taking a hit for the team kind of thing. I feel like that's a little bit different from what I'm saying though, because like if something nasty happens, you don't want to be known for something bad that's happened. You don't want that on your shoulder. There was a job that I used to work at, and there was a chap there who was quite loud and talkative, and I used to go off into different parts of the building to do different jobs, and then this guy couldn't put two and two together that I was somewhere else working, and just sort of thought that I wasn't doing anything and would say it out loud in front of other people and stuff. And it sort of became a bit of a running joke between me and some of the other colleagues that I'm just not doing anything, like I'm off skiving. And it was just kind of funny that this guy would believe it while I was off working in other parts of the building. Then I started to hear the managers overhearing what he was saying and taking it as truth and saying it back to me. And I was like, no, I've been working all evening. This is just a joke. He just doesn't understand that I'm working in a different room. And that was real eye-opening. I was like, well, there you go. I had a laugh and it kind of backfired on me, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what the point of that story was. Probably just something about communication. He's not doing anything. Dangerous joke, job ending. Well, it is once the managers start repeating it. See, like, I guess it goes to show the managers didn't even know all the work I was doing. You know, the lesson was just, yeah, you're having a joke and a laugh, but because you're having it at someone else's expense, you're not dealing with the truth, if the wrong idea goes around. So yeah, we started talking about how amazing the Hermitcraft community is. One of the reasons I wanted to start talking about that was actually to ask all of you, what things could we do for you? It just made me wonder, is there more things we could do with our community? Is there ideas out there that are amazing things we could do and achieve together? I am actually working on an idea. I've gotten the approval from the other hermits, and now what I need to do is execute that idea. And it might take me a while, because it's going to start for a building project. If I get to do this, though, it'll be a very community, like Hermitcraft community oriented project that will just be absolutely amazing. I know it will, if I can pull it off. And I don't really have to do a lot to pull it off either. Like it's kind of like this one thing, and then it's like a concept, and then from there it can just bloom. I don't know what I was asking for when I asked, so like, think outside of the box. It just made me wonder, someone out there might have a really amazing idea for a communal thing that you just haven't thought of. Maybe sometimes the reason you haven't done a certain thing is because there isn't something to be done. It kind of made me rethink the whole mid-season World Tour server idea a little bit, but we had such a negative backlash from that one feels a little bit painful still, because I'm pretty sure the same thing will happen again if we try and do it again. So that was one idea that came to mind that I think, I mean, we could talk about it again, but I imagine the same concerns are just going to be a problem. Virtual HermitCon in Minecraft. That's a terrific idea. Immediately, it's the same problem as the World Tour stuff. But think in terms of solutions and not problems. There are differences. Now, a real life event would cause the response. Here's how I'm imagining it. I read a comment. X was so gutted I couldn't go to so-and-so con. Really wanted to meet you and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's because we just kind of accept the situation as IRL cons. You might be able to get a ticket, you might not get a ticket, you might meet someone, you might not. That's like accepted. Yet when we do it online, when we create a Hermitcraft World Tour, the response is, this is so unfair, I didn't get to participate. Now, I think it's because of the nature of the online versus the IRL situation. It creates a different frame of mind as to how you think about it. You think, online, I should be able to access it, and therefore somebody did something wrong because I couldn't get what I wanted. That's how I think it kind of goes down. Talking about, the person isn't even thinking this. It's just like on the emotional level. This is why it unfolds this way. If that's true, a online HermitCon could potentially be presented differently. You could potentially sell tickets. You could really shape it in a way that doesn't fall victim to those problems. You could do the same thing with the World Tour as well, actually. Yeah, there's ideas there. There's ideas to be had. How about working with a maze where tickets for Virtual HermitCon are sold for charity? It doesn't need to be expensive, and there needs to be a cap. Maybe it could be for a couple of days so that more people can participate. Great idea, great idea. I'm going to write that one down. Yeah, Virtual HermitCon might be a potential thing. I think selling tickets would lead to similar comments as Animales. It could do. There's always that one person. For anything, there's always that one person that can take what you're doing and turn it into Nazism or whatever. Like, just make the worst of it. There's always that one person that will do that. It's more about what's the broader average response. That gives you an indicator of how it's being perceived and whatnot. You know, ultimately, we're just trying to do a nice thing as well. That's what really hurt about doing the world tours. We're just trying to do something nice at the end of the day. More nights/times like HHH, but not necessarily always helping others, could just be doing fun things. Yeah, I've been trying to communicate this idea of doing when it comes to ideas. So I've been trying to do that myself. If I have this idea, it needs to be actionable in a way. And so when it comes to doing stuff as a group, everyone wants to do things. We could do this, we could do that, but it's just about actioning those ideas. And I've seen a little bit of that recently. Scar with his charity live stream is a case of actioning an idea. We all want stuff like that to happen, and we all give it the thumbs up, but then you need someone to take the lead and make it happen. And that's usually the difference, is that we all want to do more stuff with each other, but you need a leader in that. You need someone who brings people together and makes it happen. Do any of you remember Ren hosting a Hermits Helping Hermits in season 7? And it was just an absolutely amazing event, but it was mostly because he took his own idea to this Hermits Helping Hermits thing when it first came on, and he led the way on it. And it never really happened again because no one else, myself included, I wouldn't be comfortable with hosting it the way Ren did, but it's the way he took action on it and had a vision. That's what made it special. He had a vision of what to do, and then he brought it to life. He was the host. He had us doing things, asking questions. He made it entertaining for everyone. That's the difference between the idea and the thing happening. It's surprisingly difficult to figure out how your ideas become actions when a lot of them rests on other people. So if you want to do something as a group, we could always get together and do stuff as a group. But like, what's the vision for it? Who's leading the charge? So did you enjoy the waffle? Want to hear more stories and thoughts? Check out the playlist link below if you want more videos like these, and of course subscribe to the channel to catch future ones, and go to linktree.xisuma.co if you'd like to find links to all of the other activities that I do, including playing guitar, making music, Minecraft videos, and much more. Go check out that link.